Hi, my name's Judy,
And I'm Ceci.
and together we are
Two girls on a mic. Do elevator music. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
We're back on YouTube with another video to bring you some spooky stories.
And this sadly is our last episode
for
of October.
Halloween.
So
Yeah.
sad.
We'll be back next year, though.
Maybe with more video content. Because
Yeah.
this year we only did one. But
Yeah.
they're very time consuming. So
Yeah, but we got new lights, and hopefully you could tell. So I kind of want to start this off with Judy. Do you believe in paranormal things?
I do.
Do you? Okay.
Do you?
I do to a certain extent.
It's hard because right now in the world that we live in, you can manipulate a lot of things and they can either be fake or they can be real.
Right.
So that's why I'm a little skeptical, but I really do believe there are some people who really experience paranormal activity.
Yeah, I think also there's a new paranormal activity coming out. I don't know if anyone cares for that, but I just saw that the other day, and you reminded me of it.
I think I've only seen one.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they're okay. They're good. They're okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like what you say. There's so much stuff online. Like all the videos that you see, they are scary. But it's like, okay, how much of this is real? Is it real at all? Like, is it all staged?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's very obvious, but other times it's like,
Like I was just watching Ghost Adventures with Derek the other day, and it was, I think, their newer seasons, and I felt like some of the things, like I questioned it. I was just like,
right? Like watching them back again when they're like hearing the voices of the ghosts. It's like,
Yeah.
is it really?
No, there was this one where Zach, they were in a house where they would get strangled, and for whatever reason, he started strangling himself,
Okay,
and he kept saying like it wasn't him, but I was like,
that's a
I
little
don't
much.
know.
That's like kind of pushing possession.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. His acting was a little bad, so I didn't really believe it very much.
Like, oh no. Oh
He
no.
was like, and then they were trying to stop him. He just kept squeezing hard. I was like, all right,
Okay.
relax.
Let him, then we'll see if it's real.
Yeah. But how was your week?
It was, well, what did I do? I worked all week long. And it was pretty much at work. It's very nice because I have a lot of downtime. So, like, the last 2 episodes you heard, I've been editing those at work. It's good, though, because, like, I don't get in trouble because what else am I going to do?
Right, yeah.
So, it's nice with that. Other than that, like, I've kind of been planning ahead my next few weeks because I have certain days off. I'm trying to get my hair done.
Oh, I know you were telling me.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my hair done.
What color?
It's going to be like a dark orange.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
the pumpkins here?
A little darker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to go straight Hayley Williams just yet. But I've also been thinking about getting a tattoo. I haven't talked to anyone about that. This is the first time I'm bringing it up.
Wow.
So Matt's behind the camera. Matt's behind the camera. He's like, yeah, I've never heard of it. No. That's about it, though. Like, I don't have anything new.
Okay.
Yeah, what about you?
Just work, like Brianna says, and then just planning for these
Yeah.
videos. We're trying to work for like towards our November content,
Yeah.
and just kind of like maybe rebranding. Maybe there's a lot of talks about a lot of content, so look out for a lot of new things that are coming up. But
And looks for our social media.
yeah.
But all right, we did post on Instagram, like, tell us if you've had any spooky stories.
Yeah.
And we did get,
We had one Daisy submit her story, and thank you. She's always very engaged and always sharing Tuesday tunes and Throwback Thursdays and just sending us messages. So thank you.
yeah, we appreciate your support.
So we notice you.
Yeah.
Okay, so her story is she was living in an apartment complex, and she was running errands, and she parked her car and she asked for the keys from her significant other because she really had to go to the restroom. They didn't, hold on. They didn't hear me, so I ran towards the house and knocked on our door so the little girl could open it. And by little girl, she means her niece, her boyfriend's niece.
Okay.
And one of the girls opened the door, and I ran to the bathroom, but at the same time saying, "I thought you guys were going out with your mom." And the little girl turned the corner into the room that my partner at the time walked into the house from the parking and asked me who opened the door. I said, "Your niece." And he had this weird face and walked towards the bedroom calling out their names. We got no answer, so he called his sister and asked where they were at, and she said that they were at Universal Studios, all three of them. So she said fast forward years later, a few months ago, I was watching paranormal stories on Netflix, and the first story they were talking about turned out to be similar to mine, and they called it ghost/spirit, the mimic, because it mimics people. So
that's scary.
I would trip out.
Imagine that's like if you guys saw, what's your nephew's name?
Either Matthew or Xavier.
Yeah, that's like if you guys brought him home from like, I don't know, something, and then they're like, oh no, he's been here all day.
Right? Yeah, that's creepy. I would freak out. I'd be like, I need to get out of this house.
Yeah.
I'm moving out now. Okay.
I'll be moving out of state, just in case.
Yeah, that's scary.
It is really scary, like that.
Because the fact that they opened the door.
Yeah, like they physically can do things.
Yeah, that's super scary. Because if they're like apparitions and stuff like that, but once they can physically touch you or hurt you or open stuff,
that's like more powerful.
That's very scary. So
yeah. I don't want to mess with that. But maybe I did when I was younger.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had an imaginary friend when I was younger. His name was Angel.
Oh my god. That's already bad.
Yeah, I don't know. From what I remember, I don't think I named him Angel for any particular reason. I think that's what I just started calling him. And I want to say from the ages of maybe 4 to 5.
Okay.
And he was basically my best friend. Don't get me wrong, I was a very social kid. It wasn't that I didn't have friends, but I would come home and it was always I was with Angel. And it might have started when I was younger. I'm thinking maybe 3, because some of the stories I hear from my aunts, because we lived in a house with my grandparents and my aunts and my uncle and my mom, my dad, and me. So, and we also had cousins that lived in the same area. Okay. So, I keep saying so. One of my aunts that didn't live in the house, or at least I think she's my aunt, maybe cousin, she came over and she was babysitting me. And there was these tall oval mirrors. And she was sitting on one side and I was sitting on the other. And she says that I just started talking to Angel. Just having a full-on conversation with no one.
Do you remember, do you remember if it was just, you would just not see anything and just, talk to the person? Or did you physically, have, did they have features?
I can't remember for sure. All I remember is that he, was basically like me. He was a light person. I don't know if he was white, if he was a light-skinned Hispanic, whatever. But I do have, a picture in my mind of what I think he looked like. Okay. He was a kid. It wasn't a grown adult. But yeah, she told me that I started having a full-on conversation with him. Oh yeah, Angel, we need to do this and this and that. And she's sitting on the other side of the mirror freaking out.
She's crazy.
And another story that I personally remember, and my mom does too, is we lived in not a basement. Well, we lived in both a basement and a garage, but we were in the garage at one point, and I had my own bed, and she and my dad had their bed kind of across the room from each other, and I was sitting on her bed, and she came and sat next to me, and I freaked out, and I was like, "You're sitting on him!" I was mad. I was like, "You're sitting on him, you're hurting him!" And she freaked out and stood up, and she's like, "What?
Oh my god, I would be scared.
So from memories I have, it wasn't anything bad. It was just my imaginary friend. He did go away when I moved from Cudahy to the high desert.
Oh, maybe it was somebody in that house.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know how true this is because she could just be messing with me. But Gabby, my aunt, she told me that there was one person who lived in the house before and who supposedly passed away in the room that me and her used to share.
Oh, really?
But it was an older woman, from what she said. So again, she could have just been fucking with me.
Gabby, we need answers, okay?
Uh-huh.
Clear it up. Is it real or you just made it up?
So yeah, who knows? It might have been an old woman disguising herself as Angel. Because I just think it's weird that he just disappeared, and my parents say that I never really questioned it. Like it was just like that when we moved, so and I forgot about him. Yeah. So Angel, if you're out there, don't come looking.
Okay, I was gonna say Matt's like, no. He's not invited.
You're not invited to the party.
So there is another story that's a little creepy that happened at our school. So in our high school, we went to Roosevelt High School, and this person didn't know the history behind apparently there's like a ghost that roams the halls. Well, that building's torn down now, so I don't know if that ghost stayed there, yeah. But the story goes that there was a school dance. I don't know what dance it was, but there was a couple people who left the dance, went to the building had 3 floors at one point. Okay. So they went all the way to the top, and they were smoking, and I guess they threw one of the cigarettes. I don't know what it was, but I don't know if it was like regular cigarettes or weed, but they threw it, and the 3rd floor ended up catching fire, and they died there.
Oh.
So they ended up, obviously they lost that for the 3rd floor, but when you go to the 2nd floor, there is still some stairs that you can go up. What leads you to the roof, but they have that gated.
Oh, okay.
So this person, it was his first day at school, and he was very new to the area. He was living somewhere else prior, so he didn't really know much about the history. So he would get there super early because his sister would start cheer. So they would start like 5-6 in the morning. So his parents would drop both of them off at the same time. So he kind of had to like just kill time.
Yeah.
So he was roaming the R building. That's what it was called. And he saw somebody, and I don't recall if he said that he said hi to him or whatnot, and the guy replied. But then when he saw the guy go to those stairs that led up to the 3rd floor, so he went and like after him.
Yeah, he followed him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And when he got to the stairs, like there was nobody there. And there's a clear gate that won't let you go upstairs,
like from bottom to top.
So if the stairs go up like this, the gate is right here, so you can go up. I think there's like 3 more steps, and then you can get to the roof. So there's a clear gate, like that with locks and everything that you can. And he and then after he didn't know if maybe he imagined it because it was super early in the morning, but he remembers vividly. And then later when he started his classes, he heard the story. So then he's like, what?
That's so crazy, imagine.
But also, see, the thing, he likes those kind of things, so he was like not even creeped out. He was like into, he's like, whoa, I just met a ghost.
Like, let me come back again tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's creepy. I would have flipped out.
I would not go back to school. I'd be like, I need to change schools right now. Yeah, that's really scary though.
That is.
Like, because even if it wasn't real, like, I don't think your mind could even make something like that up.
Right? Yeah, because it's too coincidental that the person disappeared going towards the 3rd floor.
It's like one thing when you think you see someone out of the corner of your eye and it's like nothing, but if you're like seeing them walk around, that's like, okay.
Yeah, that's very creepy.
Yeah. So that's, give me the chills. This next story is actually about the man behind the camera right now, Matt Boone Kampar, my boyfriend. So I'm telling his story for him. It's not a paranormal story,
but it is a scary.
Yeah, and I think that makes it worse that it's not paranormal.
Yeah,
Mr. Boone. Matt was 8 or 9, so he's believe. So his parents and his brother were both out, or were all three at work, and he was home alone, which he should not have been, because that's
At that
like,
age, yeah, it's pretty young.
It is very young, but it's also like the situation, like they're immigrant parents, so you know, that's how it goes. And he, from how he told the story to me, he was just at home playing video games, like minding his own business, and that he hears something break. And he thinks it's his brother.
Okay.
Yeah, when he told me that, I'm like, why would you? But he's a kid, so like. But in case you're listening, if you hear something break, it's not your front door. Maybe it's not your brother. And he doesn't get up. He doesn't do anything. And like the door opens, because the way the house was set up, again from his explanation, it was a living room. The dining room was off to one table, to one side of the house, and then on the other side there was like a door that led to another part of the house. And that door, it opened, and he like turned and looked, and there was a guy staring back at him.
Oh my god.
But the guy like sees him and just closes the door and then leaves.
I mean, it's a good thing, because some people would still just either like tie him up and like put him in a room
or
and like
take him
and do their thing. But this person was obviously more, I guess I would think this person would be more new at robbing, because if it's somebody experienced, they would just like, if they really were malicious, they would take him or tie him up, put him in a room, take what they need and go.
Yeah.
So
and also like, he was playing video games, so I want to think that there was some noise coming from like the house.
Yeah.
So that goes back to probably he was probably new at this.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like scared him so much that he didn't want to try.
And maybe especially because it was a kid.
They're
like, you know what? I'm gonna get in way too much trouble because it's a minor. Like, let me not do this right now.
But even then, even after the guy like slowly backed away, Matt decided to get up, grab a bat, which he still has, that's next to my side of the bed. And he opened the door and was looking in there. He saw like footprints, I think he said, in the rug. And he didn't want to call the cops, because then they would have been like, why are you home alone?
Yeah.
So he called his brother, who was in Torrance at the time. He lived in Paramount. And that's a pretty good drive.
Yeah.
And depending on the time of the day, there might have been traffic. But he got there, they figured it out, and then they called the cops, and they kind of did their thing. They didn't ever catch the guy, but
I think so.
That's pretty scary.
That is scary, especially as an 8-9-year-old.
Yeah,
that would be a traumatic experience.
I was telling him, like, I still get scared when I hear the doorbell ring.
I do too.
At my parents' house, when I used to be home alone a lot, like when I was going to community college, our front door has a glass oval.
Oh.
And you could, if you look at it from a certain way, you could see into the living room. And that's where the couches are and the TV are. So if I was sitting on the couch and the doorbell would ring, I would jump to the floor and like hide there, because I'm like, I have really bad anxiety about that, because I never know who's gonna be at the door. It's probably like someone just delivering a package,
right.
But like my mind starts like, oh, what if they're trying to break it?
That's why I'm so glad that we have glass, but it's like super high up the door that I don't like. I don't
think anyone could fit in there if they tried,
because I'm like, if our door would have like a bunch of glass, I would immediately change it. I'd be like, no, this is not a not a stay.
No. So that's a scary one. I thankfully have never had an experience like that.
I haven't.
But yeah, that's very scary.
So another story that I want to share, and this is something that happened to my family, not particularly to me, but my brother. And it was, we were probably like 4 or 5. I was probably 4 and my brother was 5. And we were living in Boyle Heights at the time. And my parents were living in a house where the city was gonna like tear down those houses because they were building the metro. So they ended up giving the money to move out. And my parents had a family member living there who had just gotten here maybe a few months before all this happened, and his girlfriend at the time, she found out that my parents were getting money because from the city because they were tearing down those houses for this project. So she was pretty much telling my parents, well, he needs to get a cut of that, even though, and mind you, that family member, he didn't want anything. He didn't want money. He didn't want anything.
So it was just her speaking for him. So she wanted money.
Exactly. So
actually, I might not say that. If she listens to this, you would.
So then my parents like, well, no, like this has nothing to do with you, and he wasn't asking for anything. So they left it at that. And there was a day that we were all going back home, and my brother and I would always run to the door because we wanted to open the door. We wanted to be the first ones to the door. And that day, me and him ran to the door. He got there first. But little did we know that this crazy lady had done some kind of like witchcraft, like what do you call it in Spanish? Brujeria. So the how we found out is the lady who ended up curing my brother. Spoiler alert. But apparently she had put something on the door. I don't know if she threw like a liquid or a powder or something to the door that was meant for my dad. So this brujeria, witchcraft, spell, whatever you want to call it, was for my dad. But because my brother touched the door first, he ended up getting whatever it is. So slowly, it started off as a regular cold, just, flu-like symptoms. We would go to the doctor and they gave him, regular prescription medication. But he continued to not want to eat. He got to the point where he was so skinny that you can see his bones. Oof. Like you can see his ribs. Like and he was so weak he couldn't even, like we couldn't close the door to the restroom because he would not be able to open it. Oh wow. Yeah. And it got to the point where my parents took him to a bunch of like places to cure him the mal de ojo and like all this stuff, but nothing was working. Because apparently this was like a complicated like spell that she did. Oh. And we would go to the doctors, they would draw blood, they would do all these tests, and everything would come back normal. He would get to the hospital and he was perfectly fine. He was a healthy kid. He would want to eat, he would play, but only
at the hospital.
Wow. And when he would get home, it was just he just wanted to be laying in bed. It was literally during the summer. It was 90 degrees and he was cold. He wanted to like have those thick Mexican blankets because he was that cold. Wow. And we're like, oh my god, it's freaking hot. What is wrong with you? And whenever he would shower, he claimed that the water would hit him. Like it would hurt him. And he said he saw two faces laughing at him. It was a woman and a man. So that was very creepy. So then at one point my dad called my grandma, and my grandma's very much believer of those kind of things. Oh, okay. So she's like, you know what? Like, come here. I know a lady that she said she'll be able to help. So my dad was so desperate because he was at the point where my brother looked like he was gonna die. So he ended up going to Mexico, going to this lady, and the lady told him, if I'm gonna try and do my best, but it seems like it's to the point where I may not be able to do anything. So she did it. Every day my brother would go there, and she was able to do something about it. I don't know what she did. My dad never explained to me, but she said if you would have came here maybe a week later, your son would have died. Wow. Yeah, and as soon as, I think it was 3 or 4 days that he went to Olympia or whatever she did. And as soon as he got out that 4th time, my dad said he remembers like very vividly, they were at a hotel or motel, and right outside there was a taquero, and he's like, Dad, I want some tacos. And that was the first time that he had ever asked, like he was hungry, that he wanted to eat, instead of like us forcefully having to feed him. And slowly after that he started like just becoming his own self. Right. Yeah. And the lady didn't want to tell my dad who it was, because we didn't know at the time it was that lady. My dad had no idea what this was about. But the lady knew who it was, but my grandma told her, like, don't tell my son because I don't want my son to do
Yeah,
anything.
and then she'll come back.
Yeah, and eventually my dad found out. My grandma told him, and he kind of, after a while, he kind of figured who it was, and it's crazy because years later we found out that that lady got her karma. Like a lot of bad things happened to her.
Wow.
Like
Is she still alive?
I don't know. I lost track of her, but I only heard because of family members. Apparently, her face got like what do you call it? She was in a car accident and the glass kind of destroyed her face, and then she like fell and had like this accident. Like she had a bunch of stuff that went bad with her. I'm just saying, karma is a true bitch. So she got her karma, and but I was just like, that is freaking crazy. That's why I believe in stuff like that, because I've seen it. Like I saw my brother like dying pretty much, and now he's perfectly fine. He's not skinny, I'll tell you that. But yeah, that was this very scary time. Yeah.
Wow. I don't think anything like that has happened to anyone I know personally.
Yeah.
Not that I could think of.
And the crazy thing, my dad did not believe in those kind of things.
No.
He was like, no, that's like not true. He would always get mad at my grandma because my grandma would always like bring stuff. I'm like, no, like he would shut it down so fast. But after that, he's like, okay, there is like bad people and bad things out there that unfortunately there is stuff like that people do, you know.
Yeah, I think my dad's probably the same way. He's not really a believer in that. My mom is in some way, and when you were saying that, it kind of reminded me of something in this new house, which kind of makes sense with what I had told already. So we moved into the house that my parents are currently in 2015, and it's a 2-story. I've never lived in a 2-story house. I was like super excited. My room was like the first one when you go upstairs. And so it's right next to the stairs. On the other side of the wall, it's going down. And like constantly throughout the middle of the night, I would hear like those stairs were very creaky. They still kind of are. And I would hear it and I was like, that's weird.
Who's there?
Because I would hear it so often, like people, and I kind of just thought like, oh, it's probably like Alex or my parents going downstairs to get water or something. But there was one night where I was home alone and I started hearing it. I don't know why I was home alone. To be fair, I was probably already over 18. But
so I would still get scared.
It's a big house. I think the only other person, quote person, wasn't a person. It was a dog. Piper.
Maybe it was a dog.
She was in the room with me.
Oh.
But I heard the creaking of the stairs, and it's right next to my room, so it's not subtle. I could hear it, and I'm like, I'm staying in the room for the rest of the night. Oh my God. And what you like kind of made me think of is Izzy. She pretty much grew up in that house, so she had this like puzzle where when you connect it, there's magnets that it'll say, I think it was like a farm animal one, where it's like, oh, cow, oh, goat, whatever. And she had it like just stuffed away in some things, and a lot of times, mostly in the night, sometimes during the day, it would start saying like cow, goat, whatever, but the pieces were nowhere near it. Like it'd be on the other side of the room, or at one point we were cleaning it out and I'm like, none of the pieces are here. My mom's like, oh, they're probably just thrown out. I'm like, I heard this yesterday. Like, why is it making these noises? And so she came up with a theory. She thinks that there's a little boy who was living in the house, and she kind of mentioned that what if it's Angel coming back, because like it would only be with the kid stuff, like nothing else ever got like. Did
your sister ever have any imaginary friends?
None of my sisters did. It was just me. So who knows, maybe he followed me back a little bit, but it's not as crazy as your last story.
That was very scary.
But it's a little spooky things here and there. So that's all of our spooky / real stories. We figured this is a little more scary than reading you like, I don't know, what's a popular Halloween story?
Like scary stories, like the books.
I
used to love those books.
I did too. I enjoy reading like not non-fiction.
Fiction,
But it just makes it scarier when you
when
know
it's
it's real.
Yeah. Like to this day, I still haven't seen the movie, and I want to see it, but I feel like it may ruin
What
like
you
what I envisioned in my head when I was reading it. So I'm just like,
Right, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes it's best for you not to do it.
Yeah.
But that being said, it is the end of Halloween at Two Girls on a Mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sad about it, but
But
like I said, we'll be back next year.
we will.
Yeah, we want to thank you guys again for listening to our episodes this month, and we hope you enjoyed them. They were a lot of fun for us to make, and
Definitely.
if you like this little setup, we're going to do our best to try to film some more videos.
Yep.
And this is the first episode that we're filming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This actually is our first episode, so we'll try and get either more episodes filmed
Or
or
just
like
video
short, like
content.
mini short videos. But
Yeah, we do have plans for furthering our YouTube
yep.
stuff. So just stay tuned. It's coming.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys want to share any of your stories, maybe you didn't have a chance to send us a DM for your stories, but let us know if there's any creepy, spooky stories that happened to you or anybody you know, or which one of these was the scariest one for you.
I know which one was mine. Alrighty then. Well, again, all of our links are in the description.
Yep.
Every social media is at Two Girls on a Mic.
Yep.
And for personal, mine is at sassy.enciso.
Mine is at Moody Judy.
Yep. And you guys will hear us on the next one. Bye.
Bye.